Hi and welcome to another installment of Nathan's Beer Reviews. Today the beer I'm going to be reviewing really needs no introduction. As you can see, Guinness Draught. The most famous thing to come out of Ireland possibly ever. It's certainly one of those things that when you think of Ireland, one of the first things that pops into your head is Guinness, at least for most beer drinkers, I would assume. Brewed the world over. I'd say it's probably the world's most popular stout. I haven't actually put any research into that, but I would hesitate. It's probably a fair assertion. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's popular the world over. I think everyone's drunk it at least once. Even if you're not a fan of stouts, everyone's had it. I never used to like stouts until I travelled to the UK and started drinking Guinness on tap everywhere I went. So it grew on me. It's now possibly one of my favourite, definitely my favourite stouts. And yeah, definitely my top 10 favourite beers of all time. What can I tell you about Guinness if you've never heard about it before? Guinness Draught in this form was first brewed in 1967, I believe. Definitely the 60s, so it's been around for about 60 years now, 50, 60 years. And of course, Guinness are famous for their nitrogen can, which, it's iconic. Nitrogen widget inside the can, which releases the nitrogen and creates that gorgeous, creamy, foamy head that is iconic with Guinness Draught today. I think the website on Rate Beer actually gives the best description of Guinness. Nitro can, nitro keg, and nitro bottle. Filtered, usually called draft, and sometimes called cold or extra cold. In the UK, it's called Guinness Extra Cold. Same beer, but served colder. ABV ranges from 4.1 to 4.3% alcohol by volume. This one to 4.2%, depending on where it was brewed. Guinness exports a hopped and concentrated wort to regional breweries who then brew it on site. Launched in 1961. There you go, 1961. The ingredients are pale malt, about 25 to 30% flaked barley, and about 10% roasted barley, giving it the lovely dark roasted colour, with no other grains or sugars. Several hop varieties, mainly Goldings, both the pellets and isomerized extract, which produce a flocculent head-forming ale yeast. There's not much more you can really say about Guinness. And it doesn't really give too much away on the can. Like I said, this one's 4.2% alcohol by volume, brewed in Dublin. So it's imported into Australia, of course, by Diageo, Diageo Australia, who are the parent company behind Guinness. But interestingly enough, there is no mention of Diageo on the can, which I think is a very smart idea by Diageo, that you don't want to be upsetting the loyal drinkers of Guinness with, big multinational branding on it. Brewed in Ireland by Guinness & Co. St James's Gate, Dublin of Ireland. Brewers of distinction since 1759. Put that into consideration before I crack it open and enjoy the beer. 1759. Now, Captain James Cook first sailed around Australia in 1770, and Australia wasn't actually founded or landed upon and colonised until 1788. This beer had been in production, well, not Guinness Draught, but Guinness as a company had been in production for 20, 30 years before Australia was even a thing. Bit of a mind boggle. 4.5 minutes into the review. Let's crack it open. Of course, I'm going to be pouring into the iconic Guinness pint glass. This pint glass was actually picked up for me at St James's Gate Brewery in Ireland by my to-be sister-in-law. She was living in the UK, took a trip to Ireland and brought me back 2 or 3 of these pint glasses, which I reserved solely for Guinness and stouts. The nitrogen can is what I like to refer to as beer porn. It's got that classic hiss and then the cascading look as it pours up the glass. So just strap yourselves in, guys, and enjoy the next 30 seconds. So we'll crack it open. There's that whimper of the nitrogen releasing from the can. Poured it into a glass, 45-degree angle. There's actually a video on the website of Guinness. It says the perfect pour of Guinness. They like to say pour it at a 45-degree angle. And let's just watch the cascading effect happen. Absolutely gorgeous look at the beer. Starting to get a bit darker down the bottom. And then that cascading nitrogen is just slowly rising to the top and creating that beautiful, beautiful head on top. They recommend letting it sit for about 2 minutes, but ain't nobody got time for that. I'm very thirsty. So we'll just top it up. Look at that. Now Guinness, of course, drunk world over, loved by millions of people. You hear it referred to as black gold, mother's milk, many other different names, but absolutely gorgeous appearance. Once the nitrogen, the cascading nitrogen effect dissipates, you're left with this gorgeous dark, almost black appearance. If you hold it up to the light, it's got a slight ruby red appearance down the bottom, bit of light filtering through. Makes it look a little bit like Coca-Cola in a glass. And of course, you've got that iconic, slightly off-white, tan, creamy head. Almost looks like you've poured whipping cream over the top of it. Just take my cat's hair out of the beer. And it looks absolutely delicious to drink. It's possibly one of the most appetizing things to look at, appearance-wise. Yeah, it's got that gorgeous dark body, creamy white head. Makes you want to dive right in. The smell, roasted barley malts, hints of toffee and caramel, a little bit of hoppy extract. It smells very smooth, smells very refreshing. Anyway, I think I've rambled on now long enough, 7.5 minutes. You just want to watch me drink this. Enjoy, guys. I certainly will. Cheers. If I could sum up Guinness in one word, smooth. Possibly one of the smoothest beers on the market. And possibly one of the smoothest stouts on the market. And I think that is courtesy due with the nitrogen. Beautiful medium to heavy mouthfeel. Very little carbonation. There's a really, really nice creamy mouthfeel and texture to it. Sweet roasted malt. It's a fairly sweet beer, but it has a nice bitter finish to it that just balances perfectly. If I was going to use another word to describe it, well balanced. I know that's technically 2 words. A very balanced beer. You know, it's not too malty, it's not too bitter, it's not too sweet. And even though it's got a medium to heavy mouthfeel, it's not a heavy beer. It's very drinkable, extremely sessionable. When I was over in the UK a few years back, I managed to... That was weird. My fridge just opened all by itself. That was a bit weird. I think the ghost wants a Guinness. When I was over in the UK, like I said, I fell in love with this beer, and I drank it in pretty much excessive quantities. I would drink pints upon pints of it, and I just fell in love with it. Beautiful lacing around the glass. Can't really say much more about Guinness. Outrageously smooth. Not too bitter. Got a really nice, toasted barley malt character to it. Little bit of sweetness. Some slight coffee note. Little bit of coffee. Little bit of toffee. A little bit of caramel sweetness. But it's not overpowering at all. It's just a great beer. And I'm running out of superlatives to describe it. So, what would I rate Guinness Draught in a can? I'm going to give it a solid A. I think it's one of the world's best stouts. A lot of beer snobs and beer connoisseurs sort of turn their nose up at the whole nitrogen thing. They think it's just pure marketing. They think it's not necessary. That they don't like the fact that beers are brewed with nitrogen, but I disagree with them on that. That's the great thing about opinions. They're like arseholes. We've all got one. And if it is just a marketing thing from Diageo and Guinness, well, guess what? They've done it successfully, and that's why the big multinational companies are big multinational companies, because they market their brand successfully and people like it. So, look, they shouldn't change this. I don't want them to change it. Hopefully they don't change it. There's plenty of other Guinness products out there on the market. If you don't like the nitrogen effect, there's Guinness Extra Stout and Guinness Foreign Stout, which are available, and I'll get around to reviewing. But out of all the Guinness beers, I find this one the most enjoyable. I always have, and I can't see any reason why I won't in the future. Unless Diageo decide to do something incredibly stupid and change the recipe, in which I think there would actually be a riot around the world, and especially in Ireland. But yeah, so I'll wrap this review up. A solid A for Guinness Draught. It's an excellent beer. An excellent beer company, beer brewery. They've been around since before Australia was even founded, so they're onto something good. They've been doing a good thing for 300 years. And I'll finish this review by saying thanks for watching. Click subscribe if you like my videos and you want to see more from me. Comment if you like this beer. Comment if you want to see me review your favourite beer, and I'll try to get around to finding it and reviewing it for you. But until then, drink responsibly, but have fun, because no good story ever started with a glass of tonic water. So enjoy, guys, and have a good night.